Ibogaine recidivism rate as far as people going back to whatever they were doing that was fucking them up is incredibly low, incredibly low.
And especially with the OxyContin addiction, which is just consuming our nation. I think one of my last stories I did at CNN are on babies now being born addicted to OxyContin and painkillers, which was really my, holy shit, what has happened to us as a society moment. And you have...
So they're sick, like, right out of the bat?
Yeah, they're going through withdrawal once they're born because the mom can't quit using the oxycodone while she's pregnant because the baby could die in utero from withdrawal. So she's got to continue using it. Then these babies, I was standing in a NICU at East Tennessee Children's Hospital. In a NICU, they've literally, half the babies there are being born addicted to these painkillers. This is something our society is not discussing. And I watched as they brought this baby in, and this poor baby was, its skin was marbled, and it was just shaking and screaming and crying in intense pain, just like a grown-up would, because this baby was going through opioid withdrawal, and they had to instantly give the baby morphine, and it takes sometimes 30 days for them to overcome the painful symptoms.
We had a doctor on Dr. Carl Hart yesterday who is a drug and addictions expert. The guy has worked for over 20 years on various tests and various substance and abuse substances and analyzing what the root of all these experiences are. And the way he explained it was really fascinating. He was saying that even when you have a hangover, that what the hangover is an alcohol withdrawal. That's what you're going through. It's not just dehydration, not just your body like being sick. It's the compensatory mechanisms that are present in your mind to counteract the alcohol. When the alcohol's gone, it's a withdrawal. Like you go into that's what a hangover is. And that whenever someone has an addiction, whether it's an addiction to opiates or whatever it is, that's what they're experiencing. It's the compensatory mechanisms fire up in order to process the opiates, and then when they're gone, then you're sick. And but the way he was describing it was really fascinating. He was saying that it's really like, I'm sure it's way worse for a fucking baby, obviously, but for a person, it's essentially like having a bad flu. And then if you've gone through the flu, you've gone through what it feels like to have withdrawal of heroin, which I thought was really fascinating. It's like a lot of it is misconceptions and disinformation when it comes to withdrawals from drugs and how difficult they are to withdraw from. And a lot of it is psychosomatic. There's a lot of psychological issues involved with people relapsing that don't have anything to do with chemical. Pretty interesting stuff.
And I think that's why Ibogaine is so effective. I think some people think it's maybe around 90% effective success rate because they don't experience withdrawal symptoms. I think that's why so many people are scared, or addicts I've spoken to, especially who are addicted to these prescription pills, is they're so scared to go through those withdrawal symptoms. And what even the young man who discovered Ibogaine, he actually went to try it because he thought he could get stoned. So he was just looking for a high, and he was a heroin addict. And he tried the Ibogaine, and then all of a sudden he realized, oh my gosh, it's been 12 hours. I should be having horrific withdrawal symptoms. Why am I not experiencing these symptoms? And then it was so effective toward the end of the trip after intense introspection. I mean, intense. You're in that trip for about 36 hours for some. He realized he no longer craved the heroin. So then he went and got all of his other junkie friends and started giving them Ibogaine, and then it just spread across the world. Now we're seeing centers open up in Mexico, and unfortunately it's still illegal in the United States, even though we have a horrific pill addiction, but you can access Ibogaine centers in Canada and Mexico, even the Bahamas.
That's intense. I have a friend who had an addiction to pills, went down, did Ibogaine, cured him completely, and then he opened up a center.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like,